way. Come on. We've been continuing to get a lot of moisture out here. The dry lots are no longer dry, but the grass is really starting to pop up. I was really hoping that maybe this year Stewie and little Gus would have come to their senses, but this morning I found Stewie had escaped to the other side of the fence. It's not a huge deal. Stewie is one that can tolerate the spring grass, but it doesn't set a very good example for the other horses. Hopefully this will be an easy fix this morning since his breakfast is in the dry lot. Hey, Peter. Good boy, Pete. Good boy, Pete. Boy, Pete. I try not to get too upset about all of the fresh snow because that does mean I will have to feed the horses less this summer because they'll have access to more pasture. However, it is upsetting that my dry lots are now soaking wet. The round pen is now under a bunch of water. I was really looking forward to working some of the horses in here, but for the last couple of days I've been using this as a turnout for Prim. At this point, I think it's probably too saturated to get the four-wheeler in and work the ground. The same thing is true of the big arena. It still has some puddles in it. I made a lot of plans for myself while my neck was healing, and one of those was signing up for a few clinics. They are very quickly approaching, and I do not have any of the horses ready. I was really hoping to take Stu, but I haven't been able to ride him because his back has been sore. He seems to be back to normal, but with the arena underwater again, I am not sure what I'm going to do. Since I do have so many horses, I have a string of backups lined up. At this point, I don't think Stewie is going to be broke enough to go to a clinic, so I'll probably end up taking Big Gus or Ziggy. The weather isn't supposed to be too terrible today, so I'm going to hope that the arena dries up today. I'll drag it, and then I can start riding some of the backup horses. It looks like I might have over-fertilized this grass. It is really a neon color. I don't know if it's coming up as bright as it is in real life. This is some of the seed that I put down last year that's starting to come up really good, but some of the older grass I think had a hard time with the really fresh manure. I typically fence this area off for some of the boys. One dry lot goes out in this little pasture that I fence off, and then the other boys go out in the middle one. But I think this year I'm just going to leave them open. This little side pasture has turned into a ground squirrel hotspot this year. Tiny is always over here pouncing on them. Since Frisco is so old and the other horses do kind of push him around now, it's hard to get him out on pasture. So I think I'm going to save these tiny little pastures for him, and he can just wander around and graze as he likes. I do have to be pretty careful about the amount of grass he gets and the time he gets turned out, so it'll be easier for me to keep an eye on him if he's on one of these side pastures. With all of my chores done for the morning, I'm going to head home, probably edit some video, and then come back later on this afternoon. Unfortunately, the weather did take a bit of a turn for the worse. It is snowing right now. It's also raining, and there's little tiny ice balls. It really does not feel that cold. The horses are standing out of their shed. We've got Whiplash over here finishing the leftover breakfast. There's a pretty serious amount of cloud cover right now, but I'm really hoping that this storm pushes through, so I'm just gonna sit tight and wait for it to be over. This time of year, it can be really hard to stay positive. We've just been through a very long winter. I'm ready to get to riding the horses, but without an indoor arena, weather like this makes it pretty difficult. There are a lot of people that ride outside in Montana all year round, but I have turned into a little bit of a baby. A lot of the horses that I'm going to be riding are either very green or unstarted, so the weather does make a big difference in those kind of horses, and with my neck not at 100%, I'd rather err on the side of caution.
Hey, Peter. Hey, Gus.
Most of the horses are finally starting to shed all of their winter coats, so they do look a little bit scraggly right now. It was looking like our nasty weather passed, but then there is this huge cloud over here that there's actually like a thunderstorm happening. We've been having some wild weather in Montana this spring, and I saw that there were actually 2 tornadoes the other day.
Kidding me?
It was bright and sunshiny a few minutes ago, but it looks like the snow is coming back this way, and with this big storm over here, I probably should not be riding out in it. I was having a real internal battle whether or not to just get some of the horses out and at least lunge them, but then I kept seeing lightning. Since there is a very real possibility that this will be our last summer in Montana, I was really hoping to get the most out of it. With the weather being less than ideal and the footing causing some real trouble for me, it is getting pretty depressing. In order for me to use Gus for the clinic, I do want to put some shoes on him, which is really hard when they're standing in the mud. Thankfully, it should only be a few more days before I have all of the paperwork for most of the horses to travel, and then I can start hauling them out. The crazy weather has brought some birds that I don't usually see. I spotted this black and yellow guy. It's been really interesting this year. For some reason, Studman has been wanting to come out and do work, which is not how he normally is. It's pretty cool to see him finally coming around and being excited to come out of his dry lot and do some work. He is one that I'm really excited to haul around this summer and see how he responds to being in a new environment and around different horses. I did some general dilly-dallying trying to see what the weather was going to do this evening. It is too early to feed these horses, so I think I'm going to do a little bit of stuff in the barn and then kind of see what happens.
Shoot.
I was getting really frustrated because every time I tried to do something outside, it would start raining or hailing or sleeting, and then the sky would open up and it would be nice out. 10 minutes later, the same thing, it would start raining again. This went on for quite some time, and I just ended up having a little pity party in my truck.
Oh my gosh. Tiny, you're gonna blow away. Where are you? Tiny? Oh, you got a gopher belly. You're full of gophers. Come here. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Doubled in size. Tiny. What are you doing, Tiny? Come on. Come on.
On days like this, it can be very difficult to stay motivated. The dry lots that were almost dry this morning are saturated once again. The arena is looking pretty moist as well. I've wasted enough time this afternoon that it is now close enough to dinner time that I can feed these horses. So in between hailstorms, I am going to give them all their dinner, and then I'm going to head home and check on Pearl.
Oh, Nigel. Nigel.
Nigel's daily brushing is really not doing anything for him. He needs a serious makeover. Before I leave for the day, I am taking some pictures of the feed that I've been getting. I actually think this might be the reason that Pearl got sick last week. Frisco also started getting sick after eating the same feed. It looked a little bit different than the stuff I usually get, so I emailed the company and I'm going to take some pictures of the actual feed and the lot numbers. I actually had to switch Pearl to a completely different senior feed because she refused to eat the stuff she was getting. Hopefully it was just a change in the manufacturer or the milling process and there was nothing actually wrong with the feed. I really don't like feeding actual senior feed, but Pearl and Frisco do need to get their pills and it seems like this is the easiest way to make sure that happens. I just checked the weather and it looks like we're going to get these little snow/rain, hail storms all evening. The weather out here can really wear you down and tonight I am just flat out giving up. All the horses are getting grass hay because we are expecting to get some pretty serious winds, so this should stay in the bags and they'll be able to munch on it until tomorrow morning when they get fed again. While I was trudging around in this nasty weather, I was daydreaming about possibly moving to a more tropical climate. We've still got a lot of different places on our list, but it's looking more and more like Arizona or southern Utah or Colorado might be the best place for us and all of our activities. I am still working on Ziggy's video. I'm actually still learning new things about him every day, so that should be within the next week. It's super exciting to find out he's registered and hopefully I will be able to get his papers. Of course, as soon as I decide not to do anything else at the barn this evening, it gets really nice outside. Just so you guys can see the difference in the two feeds that I've been getting, same manufacturer, but the stuff on the left is a little bit more covered in molasses and the stuff on the right is looking like just regular pellets. I think that's the only difference in the two bags of feed, but Frisco definitely did not like it and Pearl has stopped eating it completely. Zig is not a picky eater, so he will happily eat up any scraps that I give him.
Oops, ow, Zig.
It is kind of nice to go home and be able to spend some quality time with Pearl every day. And it looks like she is getting along with her new buddy extremely well.
Pearl.
I'm really glad Pearl and the neighbor's horse Emily have been getting along. I was thinking about getting Pearl another companion for back here, but I don't think she's going to need it. These two are around the same age and it seems like they really enjoy each other's company.
Hey, Pearl. Where's your friend? Here. Get a stick, buddy?
I even think since coming back here, Pearl has really started to open up a little bit more. It could be that all of the other horses stressed her out at the barn and this is a much better environment for her. I've noticed that Pearl is moving around a lot more in her new pen. I think overall she just feels more comfortable and this environment is just more of what she's used to, even if she doesn't have a big gigantic pasture to roam around in. I have noticed that just a few days of her upset stomach and the fact that I'm not giving her free choice alfalfa anymore has caused Pearl to lose a little bit of weight. Her manure is back to normal, so I think I'm going to try and find a way to give her free choice alfalfa again. She has her appetite back and she is eating all of her concentrated feed now, so hopefully this will just be a momentary setback.
Good girl. Come on, let's go. Good girl. Let's go. Come on, Huckleberry.
Thank you guys so much for watching and stay tuned for the next video.